Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone out there. This is Vic. Welcome to Vic's Basement Brewcast, brought to you by South Jersey Beer Scene, southjerseybeerscene.com, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you can find Zoomcasts, if you can find them at all. This is where you get it. You know, I want to start out a little bit serious. I've been in this type of business, with South Jersey Beer Scene. I guess it's about 3 years or so now, and you get to meet a lot of great people that your life is better, and it's a great time when we can have those type of people on the show. Okay, unfortunately, none of those people are here with me tonight, so I got these three with me. So I have with me today, actually, we have Richard Rabick, my guru engineer compadre. Richard.
Hello.
Who got a little bit of a shave today. He's got a very coiffed little beard now.
I do feel human. I shaved some pounds off.
He's like a male model with that little scruff on his beard.
Yeah, male model. We'll go with that. Sure.
You're like a male model. Sure.
Sure.
We also have with us, we have a sponsor, Richard. Our sponsor, Eastern Homebrew. And with us tonight as our guest, we have Guy Corrado.
How you doing?
Brewing mentor, a homebrew shop owner, brewer extraordinaire. And we have with us also the founder, face spokesman for Backward Flag Brewing Company in Forked River, New Jersey, right down here in Ocean County, Tori Fisher. Hey, Tori.
Hello, how are you?
Very good. And I'm only kidding, of course. These are three of my favorite people that I talk to. I always enjoy talking to them. I can go into Guy's shop to get some grain and wind up being in there 2 hours trying all kinds of different concoctions, etc. So welcome everyone tonight. We always start out with a little bit of news. So one sad news that we did have today is Witchcraft was officially canceled. That's the shindig in October that John Henderson and his crew runs. Really had a great time last year. Tori, you guys were there last year. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a blast. It's probably one of the best events I've done in a long time.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun last year. Everyone was hoping that be able to have it this year. Unfortunately, that was canceled along the wayside. And I believe that the Battleship New Jersey, which was postponed till the fall, I believe that was canceled. The New Jersey Beer Festival, I believe that was canceled also.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, I think so. That was canceled. So I guess 2020 is pretty much in the books now.
Yeah.
As really a shitty year. So that's some sad news that we had going along the way about those. Now, were you going to be participating in both of those, Tori?
Witchcraft, yes. The Battleship, I wasn't intending to, no.
Okay.
Can you believe I've never been to the Battleship? I live less than 10 miles from the Battleship.
That's probably why you've never been there.
I know. I see it all the time. I mean, I can almost see it from my house, but I really have to go.
You can almost see it from your house?
Yeah. I mean, it's a very close drive, and I see it every time I go to I don't know what it's called now. I call it the East Center still, but it's right there.
Can you see Russia from your house also?
I can. That's true. I can. Who can't, though? I mean.
Who can't at all, that's for sure. So, yeah, so that's some sad news we had. Better news we have is that, it seems like been talking to Ian Bartlett, my buddy from Ocean County Homebrewers, about Battle River for a long time, and they finally had their soft opening. They had soft opening last weekend. We did a little piece on them before the opening, a little sneak preview of the inside, and things are going well there. So, Tori, I don't know, did you make it up there to see them there?
I had a chance, yeah. I'm going to soon.
Yeah. And they're open on the weekends. The inside of the tap room, unfortunately, people are only going to be able to see it for the time being on a walkthrough, but beautiful, beautiful job. There some nice beers there. Actually, he's got a seltzer that I think is near 10% that he
What?
has. I think, well, yeah, I think he calls it Battle Seltzer. I don't know. That's awful lot of corn sugar to get a 10% seltzer. I got to ask him how he managed that one. It's pretty good. I had a little taste of it.
It's about 8 pounds, 8 to 10 pounds per 5-gallon batch.
Yeah, I know.
I have people that do that, and surprisingly, it doesn't taste bad.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's not real boozy, but
Yeah.
it's dangerous.
Yeah. I have actually I'm looking back at the carboy now because it's a seltzer, so I did not put it in my chronicle. It's in a old-fashioned carboy. I'm looking at it now. It's been there about a week or so. It's according to the estimates, it's supposed to be about 6% when it's finished. So we'll see. I told my son I would make him a seltzer because he's one of the hard seltzers guys. So see how it comes out.
I've made a lot of noise about them, but I've never actually had one.
You never had one? You never had
a White Claw? Nope.
No, really? Do you guys make them at all? Tori and Backward Flag?
Not yet. I have intentions for the future, but right now we don't.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of intentions for the future.
And congratulations. I know you're going to school. You had your midterms this week.
Yeah, it was exciting for me. It's my first go around at school, so.
And what was your grade, Tori?
I had a 96.
All right.
Wow.
Good. There you go.
Very nice.
Good. Wonderful.
Hey, thanks.
We'll give you a star on your paper for that.
Yes.
A lot of news coming. I think some of the breweries that were waiting. I think that our friends from Dr. Brew Little, we had them on a show. Richard, you weren't on with me.
Nope.
On that show, I believe. But they're just about
you know
ready.
those gentlemen.
I think they got an opening date set. And the Seed got their licenses and everything too, correct, Guy? I know you talked to Amanda and Sean a lot.
Yes, they're just brewing their first batch now.
Nice.
So hopefully they'll be opening soon. They dropped off some of their beer, and it was wonderful. And I can't wait.
Nice. Very good. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to them. We had a great time when we had them on the show a couple of months ago.
Yep.
Richard, so that's definitely a stop that we have to make.
It's not far from here.
Yeah, once we get on an actual road trip and get out there.
Yeah.
So, another thing, not really news, but our guest beer this week that we're going to have, we're going to try some of Tori's fantastic, what do we get? You got the Roadside Donkey Mango also, correct, Richard?
Oh, yeah.
We're going to try some of that. Tori's going to tell us about the whiskey she's drinking. But we had Ocean County Homebrewers had a Hefeweizen contest several months ago, actually probably our last time we had an in-person meeting. And our boy that we had on, Gary Paxton, we had him on our last actual podcast, Richard. Gary was on, and part of the prize was that his beer would be brewed at Icarus, and it did come out last week. So
it did?
This is the can. It's called Nature Calls. Okay, maybe a little bit of a double entendre when you're drinking beer, but Gary, in addition to his other jobs, also is Mr. Safari at Six Flags. So he wanted an animal-themed can, so they obliged him. So this is a very nice hef, and I'm gonna pour it so we can see it. Very nice. I don't know if you can virtually taste it. Very nice.
Looks beautiful.
Nice. No, it looks good?
Yeah.
It's nice. And you have a little bit of experience with Hefeweizens, Tori. You guys make an absolutely awesome one. Richard actually brought me some of the, what was that, a cherry Hefeweizen you brought me, Richard?
Yep.
That's Front Porch Swinging.
Front Porch Swinging, yeah. So,
yeah.
Very nice. And, it's great. All the breweries in Ocean County have been very good to the club. So
now I was pretty exhausted when I popped by your house. So did you tell me we were drinking that as a guest beer, or did
No,
I
I
just
did not. I let you
good, 'cause
try it.
I drank it, and it was delicious. I mean, I drank it at
Richard,
home.
I didn't
It was
tell
really good
you-
already. I drank
You
it at
drank
home.
it? Oh, you drank it
I'm
already.
at work, and I drank it at home already. Yeah, it's
okay.
gone. Yeah.
Well,
I brought this for today, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be home or at the station, but I'm definitely bringing this just in case.
Well, Richard, when I tell you what I'm doing before the show, you yell at me. You want it to be spontaneous.
That's 100% true. No, you
want it
did
to
well.
you want it to be live in the studio.
Yeah, you did well. No, you did well. That's beautiful. I love every minute of what you did. I was making sure I wasn't the dum-dum here, which is often true. So I've been the dum-dum quite a few times.
You are ostensibly my producer, so I do have to listen to what you say.
That's very true.
Yes, and you're a very highly paid producer, so.
And I can edit your words to make you say just about anything, so remember that.
You can. Yes, you can. All right, so that's some of our news, and that's some of our. I always have to look, make sure I'm recording, make sure. Oh, the red light's on high.
It is.
So that's a little bit of our news, a little bit of our guest there. Again, Gary, I know you watched this, so cheers.
That was really good. That was a good half. That was
really
good.
nice. It was very, very nice. So now let's talk to Tori. I know she's got a busy night ahead, so thank you for giving us some of your time. Appreciate it.
I'm glad to do it.
Of course. So tell us what's going on at Backward Flag. What have you all been doing during this pandemic? I know that you have an outdoor bunker, you call it.
Yeah, the beer bunker.
The beer bunker outside.
Yeah. So that's gone through in itself just a few revision after revision. When they told us that we could do the outside thing, we're back there in the industrial park, and that front door, back door, whatever you want to call it for us, it leads into a parking lot, which is also a pass through for a lot of tractor trailers. So it was a lot of trying to figure out exactly what we were going to try and do. The one neighbor to one side of me doesn't particularly like me, so he didn't really want to work with me. I didn't give him really much of an option. So it's been, we have a space that's roped off, and then we put tables, and every Thursday we put up pop-up tents, and every Sunday we take them down. And we're doing the best we can. It works. When it rains, people don't seem to mind. The tents do their job. When it's windy, that's an issue. Like we've had a tent or two blow away. So it's been interesting. We're constantly trying to make improvements. How do we improve the experience? It's kind of difficult when you're literally in a blacktop, a parking lot. Mm-hmm. We're making it work, and our customers are supporting us. So
it sounds like a similar setup to when you do your anniversary party there.
Yeah, it's almost the same thing. Mm-hmm. We're just right out that garage door.
Yeah, I was there. I was there early the other day, and there were people there. So definitely, it seems to be working a little bit, if nothing else.
Yeah. I mean, people come and they hang.
It was dinner time. I'm like, wow, people are here drinking already. This is fantastic. Look at this.
Yeah, it's funny that that day you came, you texted me, and I was like, I'm not coming. I was working on paper, right. And then, so what happened was, then two other guys texted me, and it was one guy was a guy from my old unit, and I haven't seen him in like 3 or 4 years. So I was like, okay, like I'm coming by for like one beer. Yeah. I wasn't there too long. But, it's kind of funny. I saw Richard and ran up to like go talk to him, and he's like, let's just save it for the show.
That's right. I'm like, we don't need to kill it now. I'm like, I know you got a lot of stuff to do. We don't need to kill it now.
Now you recently also got some new equipment in there too, correct?
We brought in a new 20-barrel tank. Actually, I had Mark Polito. He was in there today, putting in the fittings for the glycol, and he'll be back in next week to actually run the line to get the glycol going to it, and then we'll start filling that tank. Mm-hmm. So, I have a 20-barrel bright tank that's for sale. So all my tanks are uni tanks. So I can, do everything in one tank.
Right.
Just realized I don't need that 20 barrel. So I moved that out. And that's up for sale right now.
Mhm.
And then when that moves, I'll probably bring in another 20 barrel fermenter. It's actually, even bringing that tank into the building was interesting. We did that last week. So the truck showed up a little bit early, and then I forgot that in the past, bringing in tanks, I've always used like a rigging company, very highly paid people who professionally do that. But it costs a lot of money. I don't remember what I paid last time. It was, I don't know, $3,000-$4,000 for them just to move one tank into the building. Kind of worth it, kind of not. So we had to, find all the right people. We had our, across the street in the industrial park, we have the pet food or pet supply distributor. So we had his guy with his forklift because we don't have our own.
Right.
And we had the, there's a transmission shop that's down at the very end. Like they have this giant like engine stand. They brought that into the building. We used that to stand the tank up. It was an all day production to get this tank into the building. So
wow,
yeah,
that's amazing. What has that tank gotten you to do? What are you trying to? Are you? I know it's trying to get out more beer, obviously, but is it?
Yeah,
Was there a specific beer you were trying, or you're pushing more of now, or just generally trying to move more beer?
Really just more beer. So we recently started working with a new distributor. We're with Black River Traders, and they're doing great for us. It's just, I realized real quick that it is very difficult to, one, keep variety in the tap room, and then spread demand between the tap room and the distributor when we're only making 10 barrel batches at a time. I only got a handful of 10 barrel tanks. In the past, I was moving a lot of products, but I was also contract brewing out of a different facility with a different distributor who really set me up for failure. So this time around, I am not doing that. So I brought in just another tank that I can increase my volume on a couple of the core beers that we do, and and be able to give them more product than I am right now. And alleviate some of that stress so I can keep up doing the variety fun stuff I like to do.
Will this deliciously sour as fuck beer be staying around somewhat or ever be coming back again?
Yeah, so that's actually part of a series. I think that is, I don't know, the 4th or 5th in that series. So we've done a cherry, we've done a blood orange tangerine. I want to say there was a strawberry in there. And then we have the mango. So Roadside Donkey is our kettle sour series. So that's a beer that pretty much always makes an appearance. The only thing that really changes is the fruits in it and a few other things.
You had one of these even all the way back last year, right? This goes back a while, right? Doesn't it? Yeah. That's what I thought. Because I think I remember the story with this and looking for something in the can. Isn't there something to the can art too?
Yeah. So the beer itself, Roadside Donkey, refers to a little bit of that military dark humor,
right?
Roadside bombs, and then when you if you actually look at the label, not something I really promote, on the leg of the donkey, it says hidden in there Herbert, and that's the name of the donkey, and that name ended up getting put into the label design based on this guy in Massachusetts had written to me telling me about a friend of his, guy that he served with, that he lost and he came home, and how when they were on deployment, that guy, he spent a lot of time with this donkey. They became friends. It was a donkey that was like in their patrol path. They would stop and hang out with the donkey every day, and the donkey's name was Herbert. So he said it was one of the last times he remembers seeing his friend very happy, and he asked me if I would hide the name Herbert in the label. So every can of Roadside Donkey on the label hidden in there is the name Herbert.
It's an awesome story. It's a great beer, by the way. It really is a. I'm the big, obviously I don't know, like she can't say I'm the big sour guy on the show, but it's the beer I drink the most are sours.
Yeah, I want to try and like balance it out. There's lactose in there, and so it kind of sweetens things up. And then you got the fruit and the vanilla helps to like make things pop a little bit.
Yeah, and it hits me the way I just recently got into hot pepper stuff. I mean I've probably said a million times that I've had stomach issues on the show, so only recently have I gotten to enjoy any kind of stuff with spice.
Yeah.
And it hits me the way a lot of good spicy stuff hits me. There's all this nice sweetness and stuff up front, and then there's this sour punch that just grabs you.
Yeah.
At the end, it's so awesome.
The pH on that is like 2.8.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I wasn't kidding. Sour as fuck. But like you said, it's balanced. Like I've had stuff that's really sour that you just can't drink.
Yeah.
Like
that's the thing. It's like try and do it with like a little bit of a fuller body on it. So like that helps out, and then there is like 100 pounds of like lactose in it, for a 10-barrel batch. And
Wow.
then, but then match with that acidity and that, that's sour. And that's kind of what I like. Like, I don't want it to be just subtle. I want it to be like that you're sucking on a sour candy, but it's still drinkable. I think it is. Personally, I can just crush it all day long.
Yeah.
It's really nice. I have it in fancy glass.
Oh, that's the color.
You know what?
Oh,
I don't
the
even
color.
have one of those anymore.
You don't have any of these? See?
I broke all mine. I used to have like 12 of them in my house, and one by one I broke them all, mainly because I drank whiskey out of them, I drank wine out of them, I drank beer out of them, and eventually they all break. So.
Oh, would be a good whiskey glass, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. How much whiskey on that? I call this the fancy glass. I bought this the one day. I also have a backward flag candle too.
Yeah.
You have any backward flag candles, Tori?
I have one. I have one in my house.
An unburnt one.
An unburnt one.
Yeah. That's a cool color. I love
gotta
the
bring
color.
back some of those glasses.
Really beautiful. Yeah. Really, really, really nice color. No, I like the whole Roadside Donkey series is always a good, it's a good series. All of them are really, really nice, really great flavors in them, etc. You're sort of black humor on the military side. You also have Something's Missing. That can label, Can Art has the same type of thing on that too.
Yeah, Something's Missing. Yeah, unfortunately, the guy that was on that can, we lost him this year.
Yeah. Sorry.
Right. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Yeah.
But
Yeah, I know.
That does add a sentiment to it.
Huh?
I said that definitely adds a sentiment to the beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, we rebrewed another batch of that this year, a few weeks after we lost him.
Yep.
Brought in myself and some close friends, and even had his kids came and helped us make the beer, and the entire beer was sponsored so that we were able to donate 100% of everything. We're actually going to be doing that donation during the anniversary.
On your anniversary? Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're doing this year on the anniversary? I know I've been to several of them, and it's always a very touching event. Now, this year, of course, things are a little bit different. How are you managing that this year?
There's a lot of it. I'll be very honest. I'm still trying to figure out. It sucks because this year I had big plans. I wasn't even going to do it at the brewery. I was actually going to try and do it at Gilly Park, which is a local park in the city.
Yep.
Because I wanted to go big. I wanted full stage. I was planning on pairing it with like a veterans spoken word night, with bringing like poetry and like wine events. Sure. Had all these things planned, and was still planning it up until a few weeks ago. And then looking at everything, I was like, you know what, we might be able to kick it off a certain way, but it's going to be such a pain in the ass and like not enjoyable when somebody has to go get a beer and then go sit at a table to drink the beer, and just was like, well, it's not even worth it. So we just brought it back to, we got to do, we want to do something. We're going to do it at the brewery. So we're looking just to open up the area that we have at the beer bunker now, open that area up just a little bit more so we can fit more people. We are going to bring in some music. We're talking about setting up an area behind the brewery. We do have like the mobile cigar lounge guy that we've had at the brewery a few times. We're going to try and bring him in and set up a legit smoking area in the back so people can sit with their cigars in a separate area. And then we're also going to do, on that day, So this year the brewery received an award from the American Legion. We were the veteran veteran-owned small business of the year from the American Legion. So
Wonderful.
we're going to be receiving that award on that day, as well as other recipients in different categories for the American Legion. So that presentation will be going on. I'll be doing the presentation towards Recalibrate and Vet Work for the money that we were able to raise with the Something's Missing beer. And then I'll be releasing a new beer for the anniversary. That one is called Fife. And basically what I'm doing is it's a combination of like two of my favorite flagships. It's Valkyrie 240 combined with Oak Armored. So it's Valkyrie 240, which is a big, like West Coast style double IPA, but it's aged on some toasted oak. That's and Fife.
The Oak Armored is delicious. That's like one of my go-tos. I love the Oak Armored ale.
My favorite beer.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it's my favorite beer is like of the beers that I make, and it's probably just my favorite beer.
Yeah.
Like all around. Because I can drink it anytime in any situation.
Yeah. On your as far as your regular staples, that definitely I think as far as I'm concerned, I'm pretty familiar with most of your beers. That's like right on top of my list, that one. You can drink it anytime, and Richard and I always talk, there's no, about there not being a stout season or a dark beer season. Normally this is when everyone starts preparing to make their stouts, but that's like something you could drink at any time, the Oak Armored area. Really, really nice, consistently strong beer. It's one of my favorites, that's for sure.
Well, I think one of the things that I enjoy about it the most, so I was having this conversation with somebody yesterday, if you are a bourbon drinker or whiskey drinker, it's also, it appeals to that audience because of that oak in there. And it's not a barrel aged beer. We just condition it on some fresh, clean, toasted oak. And so that beer drinks fairly clean, but with a nice little oak finish to it. And because it's toasted oak, you get some of those vanilla notes and stuff that come through very nice and subtle and clean. And so if you are a bourbon drinker, you get those same notes, from the aging in a barrel of that wood and that vanilla. And so it appeals, to those people, and probably why it appeals to me so much, because I enjoy those things. And the best thing about it is something I like doing is I either throw a shot, of my favorite bourbon in a glass of Oak Armored, or
cocktails.
Yeah. Or I'll do Oak Armored literally with a shot on the side that I'll sip on. Like I literally pair them. And to me, it's the most beautiful thing.
Tori, when you made that beer, were you either A, chasing a beer out there that you had loved already as a beer person, and I want something similar to this, but my sort of take on it, or was there nothing out there? Or was there nothing out there like it? You kind of thought, and you really thought you were finding a beer that
I'll tell you the true story. It's might be entertaining of how that beer came to be.
Okay.
So I had a couple pounds of oak chips sitting in the brewery because I had intended to want to age a beer on oak chips. I didn't want to do barrel aging. I wanted to play around with just doing these oak chips. Brewery was still fairly young. I was still figuring some things out. I had two business partners who were active in the production process, and they were pretty terrible at their jobs. And this was before I actually started brewing, or actually at the brewery brewing. I really just came up with a lot of ideas. I did a lot of QC, things like that. And so basically one day what happened was they royally screwed up a batch of one of our blonde ales. And tasting this beer, and there's nothing wrong with the beer. It was just some issues with the ingredients and the yeast and stuff. So the beer wasn't the beer it was supposed to be. It was a little bit higher in alcohol than it was supposed to be. The flavor profile was a little off, from what it was supposed to be recipe wise. They used some of the wrong grains. It was just wasn't going to be able to put the beer out as what it was supposed to be, which was our blonde. And so I said, you know what? This is an opportunity for me to play with what I've been wanting to do anyway. And so I tossed oak chips in there and aged it out, and it came out beautiful. And I really loved the way it came out. Now, over time, I've changed that recipe and sculpted it into exactly what I wanted it to be. Initially, the first couple batches, I didn't dry hop it at all. And then one of the things I changed later on was just a few pounds of Centennial that go in just to add a little bit of, floral to the nose. Yeah, that's kind of the evolution of Oak Armored. And it started out as a screw up, and gave me an opportunity to play with something I wanted to play with. And then little by time, I turned it into exactly the beer. I've tweaked that beer so many times to the point where, like, one day finally I was like, it's perfect. And that's one of those great things when you realize other people may not even notice that you're making those tweaks, because it's like something that's good, and then you just make it a little bit better, and then you make it a little bit better, and the whole time it's still good, but you're just making it a little bit better, and nobody realizes how much better it was or it is than it was the first time.
I don't know if it's actually a true military saying, but I just heard what's his name say in oh god, I can't even think of the movie it comes out of, but improvise, overcome, adapt. Some Marine movie.
Yeah.
I'm like such a military thing you just did there. You took a total mess up, you improvised, you overcame, adapted, you turned it into one of your flagship beers. I think that's fantastic.
I mean, there's also like another saying that you kind of use pretty frequently, and it's just, fuck it, we're gonna do it live.
Yeah. Well, that's my business. There's Bill O'Reilly for you. Yeah. Fuck it, we're doing it live.
That's something we also say in the military too. That's just our way of saying, like, screw it. Like, we know we haven't practiced this and we haven't trained this, but screw it, we're doing it. Let's go.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, you're doing it right on the fly. I love it. That's great.
Yeah.
See, Richard, that's your mantra.
Oh yeah. Fuck it, we're doing it live. Oh yeah.
You know, it's funny here.
You think I'm letting you plan a show, Vic? No way. No way. We're doing it live.
He doesn't know. I have everything scripted. I have a teleprompter right over here. You don't even know that because you're not here in person, Richard.
You know, as far there, I beat that thing with a hammer.
You know what's funny though, Tori? Very rarely when you ask, a brewer what their favorite beer they brew is, a lot of times there's, I like this and that. That's why you're right and direct. No, this is my favorite beer that I make. So that's awesome on that.
Yeah.
What's your favorite beer you've made recently now, aside from Oak Armored? Now, are you doing more of the brewing now? I know you have a brewer now there, correct?
I'm doing all the brewing. Well,
are you?
So I have a new guy. His name is Joey. Joey started out, he was just going to be assisting, cellarman really. But Joey really took to the whole process and everything. And he's a really smart guy. And, anybody that's ever trying to get their foot into brewing, I would say the big secret is always be around. That guy that's only there every once in a while, forget it. Like, why am I going to even bother giving you a shot?
Right.
If you're always there, and every time I go up on that brew stand, you are like right up my ass, eventually you're going to get to brew. So that's kind of, Joey's been really smart, asked all the right questions, and I could see right away that he picked up on things. So he's soloed twice now. The first time was him, and you've met, met John. I know Richard's met John.
Yep.
John was working the other night. John's also, worked in production for back and forth. He's now our taproom manager. Again, another Army vet. And so about a month ago, I had like I don't know, we'll call it a COVID scare or whatever. I was hanging out with some people, and one guy got really sick, tested positive. And I wasn't feeling so great. So I went and I self-quarantined. I went and got tested. Wasn't going to chance going into work. But beer had to get made. And I'm kind of like the only brewer around these days. So the guys were like, we'll do it. Fuck it, let's do it live. So, and I said, all right, let's give this a shot. We can do it via FaceTime if we have to. They both have, experience hands-on. And they did. So John did it the first day, solo himself, called me, a couple times just to double check things. Beer came out amazing. Actually, the batch of Oak Armored that's currently on tap and in cans, his batch that he brewed. And then 2 days later, Joey brewed Safety Brief. Actually, him and I brewed that together.
Mm-hmm.
And about 2 weeks ago, Joey brewed what was supposed to be one beer. He did everything right. He just missed an ingredient at the very end. So that beer is no longer going to be that beer. I just renamed it.
Okay.
FNG for fucking new guy. And he loves it.
That's great.
I texted him and I was like, hey, FNG's tasting really nice now. And he's like, FNG, what's that? And I was like, this beer. And I was like, fucking new guy. And he's like, oh, that's fantastic. So yeah, I mean, technically I'm doing all the brewing, but I do have guys that are learning very quickly. They're doing great stuff. We have some slip ups here and there, but that's it's part of the enjoyment of it. I'm trying to be less stressed about constantly meeting demand and constantly everything being perfect, because for me it's not about that. It's about the guys that work there and like them enjoying themselves and them getting something out of it. So it's been fun.
I'm sure it'd have been much more stressful too had it come out not being drinkable.
Excellent.
Right? Like it came out drinkable and you made it work. That's like you said, you did it live.
I always
worked.
Even from the very beginning, even when I had when Melinda had started at the brewery, or any brewer that's ever worked there that wasn't that skilled or new, I always used to tell them, look, all you need to do is make wort, and in the end we'll make it taste good. Like
Right.
It may not be exactly what you were shooting for. It may not be like the perfect thing or exactly what it was supposed to be, but in the end we'll make it taste good. Like all you have to do is you make wort. That's all you got to do. Just make some wort, we'll make it taste good.
Well, that's what I teach my older drum students. That's so funny. We talk about the parallels of music and beer all the time, at least on here, but even in the other show I do too. We talk about it all the time. I teach my drum students that very thing, like especially if you're in like a cover band situation or like even sitting in any situation where I'm teaching practical adult students. It's not about nobody in the crowd is watching you play stuff note for note.
Right.
Like you need to get there and you need to get the essence, you need to get the basic feel of what's going on these songs, right? You need to just know what's happening, the feel. For you, the wort, for a drummer, that's the feel. You need to like know what's happening in the band and the style of music and have the basic representation of what's going on and nail that. Right. That's what it's about. That's what people are paying attention because they're watching a singer.
You're putting on a performance.
Right.
And at the end of the day, the thing that matters is that people enjoyed themselves.
Yep.
That's a big thing. Like even there's times when we brew a beer. Say we put 200 pounds of peaches in this beer, right? And when it's all said and done, you don't taste the peaches, right? And so one of the things that I've taught my guys and something that we do, and I'm sure other brewers do it, maybe they just don't talk about it, is we'll never even tell anybody that we put 200 pounds of peaches in it, because if we do, people are going to go into the beer expecting peaches.
Where the hell are the peaches?
Right. They don't enjoy the beer anymore because they wanted these peaches. So if I never tell you that the peaches were in there and you're going to drink it and be like, oh, this is a great beer.
That's right.
You know what?
My job is to put on
Dory, that's a great name for a beer. Where the fuck are the peaches?
Where the fuck are the peaches?
That's a great name for a beer. Some people say, I thought this beer was peach. No, it's not peach. Didn't you see the name of the beer? That's the name of the beer. Why would there be peach in it?
I'm going to make that happen. You got to come brew it with me.
I'll come and brew it with you. If we're going to make a beer like that, where the fuck are the peaches? I'll come brew it with you. Hey, Guy, what's your philosophy? You have mentored a lot of brewers throughout the years. What's your philosophy on that when you're teaching someone what to do?
Well, you can always save a beer if you know how to take it, move it one way or the other. But a lot of people will come in and they'll want help on resurrecting a beer. And if it's an IPA, it's easy. You just throw more hops in it generally.
Yeah.
But, I have a lot of people bring in a lot of beers and I taste them and we go over what they've done, wrong. And then I'll have people that are in my shop, like today I had a certified beer judge, hanging out, and he talks to people. You get just different opinions from other people how to improve your beer. And, we all sit around, taste it. And it's usually a pretty educational situation. Mm-hmm. But as far as making, on occasion, I've been known to screw up a grain bill. Mm-hmm. And, so instead of throwing it out or doing something with it, I'll make a beer with it. And a lot of times those beers turn out great. You just move them a little bit this way or the other way. But mistakes in brewing happen. They happen a lot. And you just have to deal with it. Do it live.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, Guy, when I picked up the grain from you last week for my recipe,
yes.
We were on the fly. We were changing this and that and everything. So when I make that beer, I have no idea because I had you mix it up. I have no idea what the hell is in there right now. I know kind of the malt that was in there, but do I know that exact recipe? No, I don't.
You were reading everything off your phone, but if you give me the date, I can go back and punch out the order.
That's what I do. I'll give you the date, and then you can tell me exactly what the hell I put in that bag. See, you get this when you go see Guy at Eastern Homebrew. Anyone who's watching it, you get distracted as you're tasting various items, etc., and so forth, and it can cause that problem because Guy has a lot of celebrities coming into the actual shop. So
I wouldn't say celebrities, but we get a lot of brewers that come in. I get some very, very good brewers that come in.
Don't you know we're like today's like modern day rock star?
Sure.
Oh, that's true. I learned that.
But as far as peaches go, there's a lot of fruit. There's a lot of fruit that just doesn't translate very well.
Yeah.
In a beer, peaches is one of the hardest ones.
That's why I use it as an example.
And nature's a fickle beast.
Some peaches. What's that?
I was saying, and nature's a fickle beast, right? I mean, great peaches this year could be terrible peaches next year.
It's true.
Yeah.
And
the flavor just doesn't really come through, no matter what you do. I think I'm going to try roasting them. I feel like maybe that would bring out some like sweetness and stuff.
Yeah.
But I haven't tried to make a peach beer in the last year just because it's never really that successful.
I just had a fruit guy on. I did hear that Jersey peaches took a beating this year.
Yeah.
I just had a fruit guy on today on a different show, on an actual radio show, a terrestrial radio show of all the weird things.
Everything's taken a beating this year. What the hell?
I know, it's 2020.
Why not?
Why not that too? Yeah. Peaches took a beating this year, and Jersey peaches, unfortunately.
Yeah. What was I going to say? I forgot. Honestly, the peach beers that I like the best, I like Festina Peche that Dogfish Head has. That's a nice one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Trogues peach beer too. The peach sour, I forget what that's actually called. The one from Trogues. I forgot what that's called.
I don't know if they still do. Spellbound used to have a peach IPA, I think.
Yeah.
It was pretty fantastic. Like the peach really came through. I used to get pissed off and jealous. I drank that beer and I'd be like, this is so good. How the fuck do they do it? And then one day I asked somebody, he's like, we just use a lot of fucking peaches.
Yeah.
I think that's why at the time, they were only doing like one batch a year of it.
Well, that's where they all went.
Yeah.
Some people will use real fruit with extract. I'm not a big fan of extracts, but if you use the two together, it kind of elevates both of them.
Yeah.
Right.
I do that sometimes. I'll use a lot of, my intention is always to use just real ingredients, whether it's chocolate or fruit or whatever. But in the event that it doesn't come all the way through the way I want, I'll use a little bit of extract just to punch up mostly the aroma. Because once you get aroma, you pick up flavor a little bit better.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, and when you're in a brewery, just from a cost basis, you can't. Like, for instance, this blueberry that I did, it's 10 pounds of fresh blueberries for a 5-gallon batch. If I'm producing this commercially, there's no way I'm going to be able to use all fresh blueberries. I'll go broke, or I'll have to charge $20 a glass for it.
Oh, I was just going to ask, what would that cost if you were canning that? Out of curiosity, that's why you were making that as a beer.
Well, let's put it
what
this
would you
way.
have to charge?
10 pounds of fresh blueberries, that's about $20 in 5 gallons. So if you're doing a barrel of it, I can't do that math that quick. That's 620. That's like, what, $130 just for the blueberries for that batch. Am I counting right? I don't know.
For a 5-gallon batch.
Come on, you got a 96. You should know this.
Wasn't in math, trust me.
96, you should know this.
Now, Tori, what are you drinking there? We talked a lot. You know, you're at a brewery all day. You come home, sometimes you want something different. What are you drinking?
I'm just about finished.
Oh.
So it's whiskey, is what I'm currently drinking. Normally I'm more of a bourbon, but this particular whiskey is fantastic. It's called Blackened. It was kind of a geeky thing, although very good quality. It's a collaboration between, I don't remember the distillery, and Metallica. So they took this whiskey and it's aged in rum barrels. And every batch, like the bottles are numbered like 91, 92, whatever. So based on the number on your bottle, you can look it up and you can see the Metallica playlist was eating into the barrels while the whiskey was aging.
Very cool.
I can't really say that I, taste the music, but it's pretty tasty.
I wonder what your playlist was. That's got to be fascinating to find out.
It's like number 92. So you can look it up. You can look up the whiskey and then you can look up the number and it'll give you the playlist. Mine, I think it's number 92.
I'm looking that up. I have to know.
Yeah.
If Search and Destroy is on your playlist, that's just going to be a little weird and hilarious to me in just some weird kind of military way. I'm like, that'd be funny. Some kind of synchronicity.
Guy, you have a little bit of experience distilling, don't you?
No, I don't.
No?
No. You can't really do that in the state of New Jersey.
Yeah.
You mean just willy-nilly?
I make a little alcohol for my tractor once in a while, but that's about it.
If you were to do it, what kind of,
I don't know if it's something you want to talk about in a public forum.
Yeah.
Well, maybe one of these days you can give me a quick lesson on that thing you don't do. Something.
Yeah, well,
I don't.
I'm interested.
From what I hear,
what I've been told,
it's pretty good.
A little bit of copper, whatever. That
whiskey you're drinking, what's the price range of that? I'm just curious.
Honestly, I don't know. It was a gift. I believe it was around like 60. So the middle upper range, I guess.
That's upper range for me. I don't go above.
Yeah, it go above $11.99.
Yeah, I did.
Like 4 or 5 years ago, I wasn't even drinking whiskey and bourbon, and the way it started was another brewer that I had a long time ago, a guy that was assisting. He was a really big bourbon drinker, and I always had this desire to want to learn how to appreciate bourbon and whiskey in the same way that I did beer. At the time, I was just shooting it, and I would see people with their glass, on the rocks or just straight. And it really started with me going, that looks really fucking classy. Like, I want to be able to do that. And and he came in one day and he actually gave me, a lesson on some bourbons, just in the same way we would teach somebody about beer. He sent me to the store, go buy this, go. It was like a bottle, like Four Roses, single barrel, and something else, and other things. And, open them up, compare it, smell the, the cork and smell the bottle and taste each one. And once you start picking up the differences, you'll appreciate it. And he wasn't wrong. So I started with drinking some fairly cheaper things. And then little by little, I graduated to I won't even blink twice before I buy a $100 bottle because I know it's worth it. I enjoy it. I like sipping it. It's a beautiful thing.
I like Basil Hayden. That's my go-to.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
That's a good one. That's about 60, 65.
Yeah, I drink a lot of, my go-to regular is Knob Creek. And then I'll do the single barrel or select barrel, which is a $60 bottle, and that's really good.
The Four Roses, I heard that's, I haven't gotten that recently. But I'm only allowed to bring so much in the house.
So you leave it out in your car?
What's that?
So you leave it out in your car then?
No, I just don't bring it in the house. It's, with the young boys I got son-in-laws and stuff like that. I don't keep a lot of that stuff in the house. It's frowned upon.
Oh. So let's talk about pandemic. How's business for you, guy? I know we do talk a lot, but tell us how it's going there.
I hate to say it because I look at, the people, I go to breweries. I try to go to breweries and support them locally as much as possible and spend as much money and keep it going. But my business has been very good. It's like a lot of people have a lot of time on their hands and they're looking for new projects to do. They've got time to develop new skills. So they're picking up a hobby, and so it's been really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
I can't complain. It's sad to say, but because so many of my friends, my buddies got restaurants and, the breweries, they have to be, because the bars really aren't going and their product's not going out of the bars. But I did notice I was looking for some backwards flag. You distribute down here, Joe Canales?
I think we might have some in the area. So because our relationship with the new distributor is still fairly young, they're kind of sporadically starting to place things different places and see where it works. And then on top of it, our ability to give them product isn't the greatest at the moment. So there may be some down in that area.
Do you have your own canning line or?
No, we do third party. So we do mostly with Ironheart. Every once in a while we'll bounce back and forth between them and Tripod.
Yeah, it's a fine line. A lot of the breweries I know have bought canning lines, and you almost need a single dedicated person to run them.
Yeah.
Very expensive. And the thing about the Ironheart is they have dedicated people that run those things all the time.
They do. And it's, you know it, like when they come in, the team, you start to get used to all the different people that come in, how they operate, and they get to know your place too. So they come in and it's like a fine oiled machine where they come in and they set up and they do their thing and they know all the quirks of your brewery because every brewery's got quirks and, they make it happen. Would I prefer to have my own line? Absolutely. You are paying a good bit in labor costs using a different company. But their expertise that they're bringing with it and the QC checks and everything that they do does make it well worth it. They're bringing a service. It's not just a canning line.
Yeah, right. I've seen where, people will buy their own canning lines and then you go purchase their stuff at the store and there's a big learning curve with the people running it. So that's one advantage of having them.
Yeah, I see guys all the time. They're always, messing around with their seamer or, there's a lot of dialing in, especially if you have a canning line that you have to constantly break down and put someplace else and then break out again to use it. You're going to be resetting all these things up again. So.
A lot of the breweries around here are using the twisties. Those little aluminum like growler with the tops are resealable.
Yeah, I've seen I haven't seen any breweries doing it. I've seen had a few home brewers bring me samples of their beer, just to try, and they've been using those, and they seem pretty interesting. From what I understand, though, they are fairly expensive.
Yeah, I think there was something down here with filling growlers. They didn't want to fill growlers, so these little twisties. I know Tuckahoe does it, Garden State does it.
Yeah,
and they work well, I think.
We bought a October canner, so a little tabletop canner. So we stopped filling growlers. I think even when all this is over, I honestly don't think I'm going to return to filling growlers. There's just no reason to. The cans that I fill at the tabletop, I'm not doing crowlers. We do 16-ounce cans, and we offer mixed 4-packs. Do a mixed 4-pack of anything you like. It doesn't make any sense to me why I would continue to fill a growler. So that's what we've been doing. So if it's not already canned in mass, by the canning company, and it's a small batch something, we still allow you to take it to go, but we'll put it in a 4-pack or even a single 16-ounce can mixed with 3 other beers in your 4-pack.
Tori, as far as shelf life, when you have it in the can instead of the growlers, it lasts longer for someone?
I mean, I've been treating those cans the same way I would treat any can. They get purged. When we pour them off the top, the same way we do a growler, but that whole theory of capping on foam, you get CO2 coming out, you don't necessarily have air going in, and you're sealing it up. So let's say, the quality is almost the same as a can right off the line. The lifespan versus a growler, I would say that in a can would be a little bit more because most of your growlers are screw tops. You still have the ability for some oxygen to get in there versus the can is totally sealed. So whatever, the only air or oxygen that you're dealing with is maybe any that may have gotten trapped during the canning process. But if you're doing it properly, you won't really have much in there anyway.
Nice, very good. Hey, I got a question for all. Now, this is one of my desert island questions. Guy, I know you love the desert island questions that I have. Okay. Tori, what would be your desert island beer 4-pack? Let's go 4-packs because craft beers usually are 4-packs. What would be your desert island 4-pack? Whatever beers you want.
So a mix 4?
Yeah.
Ooh.
All right. So one's going to be Corona.
Okay.
So I always like a cheap, easy drinking beer.
Yeah.
Oak Armored, because that's always got to be in there. Left Hand Milk Stout, because that's always been one of my favorite beers. Although I actually haven't had it in quite some time. I think I gotta pick some up.
Wait, did you say Mudbank Milk Stout?
No. Left hand.
Left Hand Milk Stout. Okay,
Left
gotcha.
Hand. That's your favorite.
Gotcha.
Every time I've ever talked to you, you always mention that
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. I'm gonna have to pick some up. And then I'm gonna need something juicy. I don't really know. I'm blanking out on that last one. Well, I would probably go to Hetty, but like 3 years ago, Hetty. I don't know if you had it anytime recently.
No, I have not.
A can in quite a while. Anytime somebody gives it to me, whether it's fresh or not fresh, it hasn't been what I knew it to be a couple of years ago. And I don't know if maybe my palate's just changed. I don't think that's the case. I think something's up with the quality, but yeah, so that would kind of cover all my bases.
Nice. Guy, you're dying to answer this question. I can tell it just by looking at you.
From a sentimental side, I would go with Something Missing, only because I think it's such a worthwhile cause. I would get a 4-pack of that. I don't think a lot of people know about this program where you're donating all the money to the mental health of veterans, and it's a tremendous, worthwhile cause.
Who is it again?
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Say it all again. What's the name of the beer again? Something Missing, right?
Yeah, Something's Missing.
Something's Missing, right? Just want to say it one more time, just to get it out there.
Yeah, we're all sold out, so you're looking for the beer.
Right.
Richard, I have.
Maybe you should make some more.
We will. So my intent is at least once a year we're going to do that beer right around
cool.
Memorial Day. But for us to produce the beer, it'll always have to be sponsored. Just because as a brewery, we can't obviously donate 100% of anything without it, and I would never make that beer and take even a penny of profit. So every year we'll look for sponsors for the production of the beer and the packaging, and then 100% of it will get donated.
Huh.
Hey, Richard, I saw you agonizing over my question.
No. He has 3 more beers. I still have time to think about this for a second. Or is he taking a 4-pack of Something Missing?
Pick 3 more, Guy.
I personally, because I can make beer the way I like to enjoy it, I'll take a 4-pack of my beer because I make exactly what I want to drink that week, or that in that time period. Like right now, I have a Bavarian lager I have a New England IPA with pineapple extract, and I'm tapping a British IPA tomorrow.
Nice.
So
Nice.
it's stuff that I like to drink.
Yeah. What kind of hops you using in the British IPA? Where'd they get those hops from?
Well, it's, standard is East Kent Golding.
Yeah.
You use Fuggles,
Okay.
in a dry hop.
Uh-huh.
I dry hopped it with 2 ounces of East Kent Golding and
Okay.
Magnum in the bittering. So it's
Okay.
going to be fairly bitter. It's a little malty.
Uh-huh.
And it's going to have, a hop profile. But it's an
Okay.
English pub beer that you don't get a lot of English pubs around here.
Right, right.
So it's something different
Yeah.
that I like. The IPA is basically a treehouse recipe. It's like their treehouse Orange Julius.
Yeah, that was
cool.
very good, actually. I had that.
Yeah, I put a little bit of pineapple, the amaretti pineapple concentrated puree in it, which gives it a real tropical, it's a
Nice.
And then I make Donna's beer. You've had Donna's beer, my wife's beer.
Yeah, very good.
It's usually like a lager or a Kolsch.
Very good. Very good. Richard, you got any words of wisdom?
Yeah, I'll keep some stuff practical here. Well, the first one I'm going to put on because I say it all the time. I got to put on.
Leon.
I have to put on the Leon.
The Chamonix Creek's Leon.
Which they promised is
I
coming.
practically cried because I had Rob on the show last time.
He promised it's coming. He promised. So I'm waiting. I'm looking. I haven't seen it yet, so I'm holding him to that. They scared me a few years ago when Sour Monkey disappeared. So I never know. That's been my go-to sour for a long, long time. And now Tori tells me that this, Roadside Donkey in its various forms could be still kicking around for a long time. I'm willing to kick off the Sour Monkey if I got some assurances that I'm going to be seeing some form of Roadside Donkey for a long time. This could be going in a mix pack.
Keep them making that happen for you, Rich.
I mean, I'm really loving it. I mean, I liked it the last time we had it. The last one I would have had would have been in November. Wasn't mango. It would have been
tangerine.
Yeah, tangerine. Right. So, I mean, 2 winners. That's enough to get Sour Monkey off a list. And get Roadside in a 4-pack. Means I got to come up with so I got to go with a classic, right? I got to go with something lagerish. I think Jay Rose is gonna love me. My buddy Jay Rose from Fear Craft Beer. I love that Yards, that the Philly, that little pale ale. That's a real easy drinking thing. It's like it makes me think of this area, like from where we're up there. I'm an up there guy. I'm a Philly guy. It's just such a Philly beer without going Yingling, right? For me, it's just such
I got a Philly story for you,
and it's a common beer. Like I'm thinking common beers, right? Like beers that I can get, that I can depend on, that'll be around, without going too obscure. Because the Leon's hard enough to have to, track Rob down and shake him and have him remember who I am and demand a beer from. A 4th beer in that pack. Can I go one? Oh, I know. Edmund Fitzgerald. Yeah,
okay.
I'm taking the porter. Yeah,
it's a good choice. It's great beer.
Good.
Yeah. Those are my 4.
I'm going to be real quick. I'm probably going to go all classic. Edmund Fitzgerald is one of mine for sure. Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. I'm going classic down the line. Saison DuPont.
Oh,
Throw that in there. I have to throw that in there. And I need a really heavy, strong alcohol. I'm going to go Dogfish 120.
Ooh, that's 3.
It's a good choice.
That was 4, wasn't it?
She's on DuPont. Yes.
Edmund, that's 4.
Yeah.
That's 4. Come on, Richard.
Yeah, I forgot the Evan. That was
you
me.
You could have took off your
idea.
shoes to count if you needed to. So, hey, Guy, advice you would give to a home brewer, someone just starting out. What advice would you give them?
Probably the most important ingredient in making a beer is patience. You have to be patient, and it's a process. You're not going to make a brewery quality beer the first time out, or the second or the third. You might get lucky and make a good one, but it's a process. But I've taken people in my shop and taken them through the process, and in 6 months they're making really great beer, like constantly. It's some people, it's funny. It's like some people take to it. They've got a knack to it. And it's kind of like baking. You got that little old aunt that, never went to culinary school, but she can make the best baked goods and stuff like that. And then I just go to a bakery and buy stuff. I can't bake, or we can't bake. It's one of those things. It's not everybody has that knack, but I can bring it. I can take the average person, and within 3 to 6 months, they could be making really good beer. It all depends on what they want to invest in it. If they want to invest in some good equipment, you could still make good beer with a cooler and, $100 worth of equipment. You could still make good beer. But if you really want to go and, to the next level, you're going to need more temperature control. You're going to need some more automated stuff that will, I'm not that great of a brewer compared to some of the people I've been around, but I've got really good equipment, so it makes up for that. I got the grain fodder, and it's digital, and I can do step mashes. I can do all kinds of things with it that makes my beer probably a little bit better than it normally would. But I've got one guy that is a chef that makes beer in a cooler. The best home brewer I ever met.
Yeah, you're very modest and you're full of shit, but you are a great brewer. Okay.
I try. I have a lot. I got everything. I got all the toys. So
actually, you're so good. You should open a homebrew shop.
Yeah, probably. Or a distillery.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Or distillery.
hey, and you all know that I have a place in my heart for homebrewers in the world. Tori, what advice would you give to a home brewer?
Sorry, I'm distracted by an 8-year-old that's crawling on the floor, I guess, trying to not
Hello,
be seen by
Dana.
the camera. Come here.
How are you?
Hi. Advice for a home brewer is, well, I definitely agree with the having patience. But then in addition to that, I've always been really big on just picking up books and reading them versus just asking your friend. Yeah. And I think that's something that I've always said, just because I always feel like that's always one of those bad habits that I always see in home brewers. It's just, if their friend does something wrong, and when they ask their friend how to do this thing, they're just getting that bad information passed back on to them, and nobody ever gets better. Sometimes I feel like that was more of a strength than anything. For myself, I didn't have a lot of people to ask, so I had to read a lot of books. So I'm very big on pick up a book and read it. But other than that, just have fun. Your home brew, especially if you ever understood the stress professional brewers are under. Yeah. Relax and enjoy the process of not having that.
Right. Yeah. Oh, sure. Oh, for sure. If the home brewer makes a bad batch, and I actually dumped my first one a couple of months ago. I made my summer wheat beer, which is the base for my raspberry wheat.
Yeah.
And it was the perfect example of diacetyl. Perfect. Yeah. You could not have made it intentionally if you were showing someone, this is what diacetyl. And you smell it, and it tasted like, it smelled like I could pour it over popcorn. Yeah. That's how perfect of a bad example it was. But you see, when you're experienced, because I knew exactly what I did wrong. I pulled it too soon.
And sometimes that's that's a good thing. And like you said, it's an opportunity, really. Yeah. A couple weeks back, we had it was a keg. It was a bad keg. And I'm guessing it just didn't get cleaned well enough or something, but... And thankfully, it was in-house. I was going through it. I was just doing a quick QC check on the taps, and one of the beers that I poured, it was straight diacetyl. The first moment, of course, was going, oh shit, all right, this has got to get pulled off the line. Then the second reaction was, oh, this is fantastic, and getting all my guys in the tap room and production, all my new guys, come here, and pouring glasses, and then making them all drink it and tasting and smelling it. And having this opportunity right there, to show them, exactly what this is.
And that's what it is too. Something it's a learning experience for you. You know,
Yeah.
I had it and I knew it was wrong. And friends came over, and my one friend drinks beer, so she was like, and she didn't notice that because sometimes she drinks beers that aren't necessarily the top craft beer. So she said, "Oh, this is good. What's the matter with it?" And her husband, my other friend, who doesn't really drink beer, he smelled. He said, "There's something wrong with this. This isn't supposed to smell like this, is
Right.
it?" I said, "Good." I said, "You win a prize for that." Because no, it's not.
Right.
It's not. So I kept it around, and I think actually what I think I gave it to Richard Egan.
Thanks.
You thought it was a sour.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hey,
What's one
Richard,
funky beer?
Richard, there's I just got these beginner sour kits in from Brewer's Best, and I think now that they have the Philly Sour came out. I mean, Lauman came out with this Philly Sour. That's actually a yeast strain that produces lactic acid and alcohol. So it makes it a lot easier to make a sour now than it was before. You don't have to do the kettle sour.
So you could make a sour without having to kettle it.
Right.
Is that yeast strain that guy in Philly discovered?
Yeah, at the
scientist discovered.
Yeah, the scientists in Philadelphia.
Yeah. I heard about that. That way, him and I have joked about making a segment out of that's like the only thing, not the only thing, but like I joke like I'm the passionate amateur in beer. Like I've learned styles now that I like and what I'm into, but I don't know a lot about the brew process. I mean, some of this conversation goes right over,
Yeah. We've had this discussion, Richard.
Yeah, I should brew. Like I should brew a beer.
I've invited you here about 50 times,
and I've missed all of them.
You never show. He never shows up, Tori. He's like, I have to wash my hair.
Yeah, that's usually what it is. My hair, my nails.
I have to clean my fingernails.
It's clearly all of that. Yeah.
Whatever. This time it was I have to shave my beard.
But that would be an interesting thought. Making a sour. I've always wondered if that would be possible to make my first beer a sour.
It's a lot easier now.
Yeah.
A lot easier.
Well, mad scientist, what do you think? Should we? Is that possible?
Who, me?
Yeah, you're the mad scientist up there. You're the head of the show, mad scientist.
We'll do it at some point.
I know we can't do it COVID, but I mean, we should think about it. Well, I don't know. Maybe I could.
Yeah, we'll do it. I'm too busy working on my seltzer skills.
Yeah.
I'm actually making a seltzer right now for the first time.
Are you?
Yeah, for my daughter. I did it for my daughter because she wants it.
Yeah.
I actually had Kate May makes one with grapefruit that they dropped off one of those cans.
Yeah.
It was actually very good. I'm not to the point where I'm going to fruit it yet, but it's different. It throws off a tremendous amount of sulfur. And the smell of it, it's like a lager in the beginning stages.
Yeah, well, that's when you add the yeast nutrient, gives you that stink, doesn't it?
No, the yeast nutrient keeps the yeast going.
Yeah, but
which I've been doing.
That doesn't help with like the sulfur smell.
Well, it's a wine yeast.
This thing. Yeah, this thing stinks.
Yeah, it really throws off a lot of sulfur. Now, if you're making a lager, what I notice is when it stops smelling like sulfur and smells like beer, that's when it's time to rack it. So I'm waiting for it to start to smell something other than sulfur.
Yeah, well, this will come out okay. Like I said, it's different to me.
This is clearly what some of my friends go through when I tell them, like, you realize Led Zeppelin's The Crunges in 9/8 time? It's a 9/8 time signature. It's so amazing that Bono could put that backbeat, make it feel like it's in 4/4.
Oh, he was.
They look at me like I have two heads, and I'm like, yeah, sorry.
No, I kind of know what you mean.
You do technically know what I mean. I know you do.
I kind of know what you mean. So. All right, let's start wrapping up, folks. Tori, tell us where we can find Backward Flag and, a little bit about the 5th anniversary.
Yes, when it's happening.
The anniversary is going to be September 19th. Right now, the tentative time is going to be from noon to 10 o'clock. Still figuring out all those details, but we should have music throughout the day, and we'll have a few different presentations. We'll announce some times at a later date. And of course, you can always find us at the brewery in Forked River. And we are now being distributed a little bit north, south, and all over the state.
And thanks, Tori. Guy, Eastern Homebrew, tell us where we can find us. And thank you again for sponsoring the show. We appreciate it.
Quite welcome.
Welcome aboard.
You know, I'm located 331 Tilton Road. We're the old movie theater, you know, the Tilton movie theater.
Now, you actually Northfield?
Yeah, I'm Northfield. And I'm open 12 to 7, Tuesday through Friday, and Saturday 11 to 5. So if anybody wants to come in, normally I can, if it's not crazy, I can give you 15, 20 minutes and get you started with a brew kit. And you're always, I'm always available on phones, you know, because a lot of times people will call. I give them step-by-step instructions, and I do the best I can. But I get a lot of phone calls, like 5 minute, you know, like not even 5 minutes, like 30-second phone calls. I'm at this stage. I want to go to this stage, but I'm not sure. And I answer the question, boom, they're gone. You know, so it's you know, it's part of the service that I provide.
Great. And new brewers, old brewers, existing, great guy to talk to, great guy to learn from, and really just throw some ideas at him, because I do that. You know, even if I'm not going down to Eastern Homebrew to pick up supplies, you know, I might just give Guy a call or shoot him a message and ask him questions about it. So really worthwhile for those of you who really either are or want to get into brewing. So Richard, how's things going in the news world? What's going on?
Oh, it's Groundhog's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like Groundhog's Day, the movie. It's the same thing every day. But I'm here. So, you know, that's the old joke that my friends used to make is still true. They still don't have jobs and I do. So, ha-ha to them.
All right. And for us, again, thank you all for watching. Remember, you can catch us SouthJerseyBeerScene.com, YouTube. We do have a YouTube channel. So you subscribe to that. You get the opportunity to see archive show with Richard and I and all various celebrities and world leaders of note that we actually have on our shows. So with that, Tori, as always, thank you. Fantastic. Backward Flag. If you haven't been there, make sure you take a ride up here to Ocean County and go. Guy, Eastern Homebrew, again in Northfield. The Roadside Donkey says goodbye to you all. So with that, we are out. Have a good night and cheers.